Hey guys, what's up? This is Michael, and I am here to review Paul Harris's True Astonishments DVD set. This is arguably the most highly anticipated DVD set of the past decade. It's been on and off in production for the past, decade, and only now has it been released, and the package itself is certainly worth the wait. There's a beautiful puzzle box that goes with it, that at the moment is locked in place because it's a puzzle box. However, the top emblem twists 180 degrees, at which point the box may slide open, revealing all 9 DVDs. You also come with a small burlap bag that features all the gimmicks that you'll need. You've got special coffee cards for Michael Weber's effect, the Weirdling, a gimmick for Belly Button, which is the campaign button through shirt, and a bunch of other things, different card gaps for Twilight Angels, for all sorts of different things. You get the True Astonishments pen, Looper's lens, which is originally known as Reality Twister, all sorts of things. So you've got a whole bag of goodies that comes with it. This alone is worth, I'd say, between $50 and $75 in and of itself. The box itself is worth $100. So what are the DVDs worth? Well, we'll find that out in this whole series of videos. I'm going to be posting exactly 9 videos, each one reviewing each individual disc from the Art of Astonishment set, starting with disc 1 and going all the way down to disc 9. Right now, we're going to start with disc numero uno. Now, each disc comes in its own trifold case with some nice images, credits on the inside, and of course the disc itself. You pop in the disc and you take into the main menu. And on the main menu, you'll find all the effects. Each DVD features about maybe 4 to 6 effects. Now, this is one of the main flaws of the set, is the fact that there are so little effects in terms of, I mean, there are 9 DVDs, 40 effects. You could have fit 40 effects onto maybe 3 or 4 DVDs, not 9. In my opinion, there are too little effects on each disc. However, it's sort of made up for by the fact that there are multiple performances of each effect, a very detailed explanation for each effect, as well as Paul Harris's own footnotes, in which he spends about 30 seconds to 2 minutes talking about each one of the effects, and giving his personal views on it, personal tips, handlings, and history. Alright? So, we'll start with the effects on Disc 1, the stuff you guys really want to see. So, we'll start with the first effect on the set, Twilight Angels. This is an effect that was originally marketed by Paul Harris a while back, and it's based on the original Twilight created by Paul Harris and co-created by Tayari Cassell. And Twilight Angels is an effect in which the little angel on the back of a bicycle card visually vanishes from one spot and appears in a totally different spot, with the aid of a small pocket mirror or a shiny Zippo lighter. Great effect. Beautiful, beautiful close-up magic. The vanish looks like real magic, and the use of a mirror provides sort of an inherent elegance to the effect. Very surprising. The card at the end makes a great souvenir. The set itself comes with a bunch of Twilight Angels gaffs, 2 red and 2 blue, and some are going to be made available in full decks, so you can definitely use them as signed cards and give them away as souvenirs. And just an overall beautiful effect, a real worker. Overall, great. I give this one a shiny 9 out of 10. Good start to the set. The second effect would be Backlash 2, which is apparently a, excuse me, which is apparently a revamping of the original effect published in the Art of Astonishment series, Backlash. And Backlash is an effect in which a spectator signs a card on both sides. That signed card is placed in the magician's pocket. In a second, the signed card jumps back into the deck, and then, in an instant, vanishes from the deck and appears back inside the pocket. There's also a surprise kicker ending at the very end. Interesting effect. Very cool, very powerful. However, the new Backlash, this Backlash 2, I feel is not in any way superior to the original Backlash. So I don't really... I can't really see why it's been included on the set. It offers nothing new in the way of the effect, and the method, I feel, has been weakened. Personally, that's my personal belief. And another thing is that Backlash and Backlash 2, the 2 effects, suffer one big issue. They are both extremely difficult to justify, to present. Bro Gilbert, who demonstrates most of the effects on the DVD, does an interesting job of justifying it, but I don't feel it's enough, and it's really a difficult effect to justify and can be a bit confusing if not performed correctly. So I'd be careful with this one. Backlash 2 is a good idea, very flawed, not as good as the original Backlash, and inherently a tad illogical. So I give Backlash 2 a 7 out of 10. Next up would be New Leaf by Paul Harris. This has nothing to do with the original Leaf that was published in the Art of Astonishment Book 3. It's a totally different effect, in which a leaf with a big chunk torn out of it restores in the spectator's hands, with the aid of a larger leaf that wraps itself around it. Now, this is a very, very nice effect, and the method is brilliantly clever thinking. Definitely Paul Harris thinking. It's not impromptu, it will require some setup, and you need to walk up to the spectator set to go. Like, you can't have the leaf set up in your pocket, you have to be holding on to them in position and walk up to your spectator there. So in that way it's impractical, but if it seems like a spur-of-the-moment thing, like maybe if you're camping, this is a perfect effect. On the street, not so much. Plus, you end dirty at the end. Well, the area that you're in ends dirty, so they recommend on the DVD walking away from the area right after you perform the effect, or even during the effect, to make sure the spectator doesn't find the evidence. So, New Leaf, great idea, great method, of course suffers some handling flaws. I give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, Cheng's Change by Cheng Lin, in which a decent poker hand changes into a royal flush with just a flick. I didn't like this personally. I'm going to be honest here. I didn't like it. For starters, I don't really see a reason why anyone would want to do this. Sure, it's short and it's visual and it looks great in Cheng Lin's hands, but it's a very awkward effect to perform, very knacky, and I personally don't believe it's worth your time. It's just a brief little change of a poker hand, and that's about all you can do with it. So I personally believe it's not worth the effort. I give it a 6 out of 10. Sorry, I just didn't like it. And the last effect on the first disc, The Big Tiny by Paul Harris. The effect of this is that a full deck of cards is signed along one of the long edges here. I'll give you an example. The deck is signed right here by a spectator all the way up and down, all the way across one of the long edges of a deck of cards. The deck is then shuffled by the spectator, by the magician, and then the deck is spread across the table. Now the spectator has the option of directing you to put certain cards in certain places, ending up with 4 piles at the end. Randomly chosen 4 piles, all directed by the spectator. And in the end, you reveal that each pile has a miniature version of their signature written right across it. So they now have 4 mini signatures. Very cool idea, very cool method. Again, doesn't make much sense. I don't really understand the purpose of the effect. It's not really magical, it's not really a puzzle, it lands somewhere in between, and in my opinion that's not a great thing. So, I mean, it's a good worker, plus you ruin a full deck every time you do it, which many might see as a downfall. However, if you have an old deck that you're ready to dispose of, the Big Tiny would make a nice effect to dispose of that deck with. And then you can give the cards away to them as a souvenir. It's all good. However, the effect itself is lacking. Overall, I give The Big Tiny a 7 out of 10. So far, a decent start to the set. They can only get better from here. We hope. But so far, with the first disc, I was rather unimpressed, as have many of the people who have seen the first disc been. However, as we move on, hopefully it'll get better. Or will it? We'll have to tune into the next reviews to see what happens. So that's my first review of Disc 1 of the Paul Harris set. Coming soon is my review of Disc 2 of the Paul Harris True Astonishments DVD set. Stay tuned until then. Thanks for watching, guys.